I've spent over 13 years in sales and closed over 10 million in sales, figuring out when to use cold email and when to use cold calling. And I'm going to save you that entire learning curve in the next 10 minutes. You will know exactly which one fits your business right now, which one makes you money faster, and how to use them so you can start booking more meetings starting from this week. So most founders pick one of these channels and stick with it way too long, and that's the mistake. Cold email and cold calling are both outbound channels, but they do completely different things for your business. One gets you fast cash with almost no setup. The other one, more time to build once it's running, brings in meetings on autopilot in a way that calling alone never can. And most founders don't even need more, they just need the right one for the stage they are at. The moment you understand which one matches where you are right now, you stop wasting time and start seeing results immediately. But first, let's talk about cold email, because the way most founders use it, the exact reason their reply rates are so low. So what cold email actually is? So cold email is one of the most scalable outbound channels you can use, but most founders completely miss it. They write these long generic messages, blast them with thousands of people, and then wonder why nobody writes back. A good cold email is short, specific, feels like it was written for one person. It talks about the problem that prospect dealing with and right now, gives them a clear reason to keep them reading, and ends with one ask that's easy to say yes to. The real power is here leverage. You can send hundreds of personalized messages in the time it takes to make 10 phone calls. You can test different angles and offers because everything is tracked. You can see exactly what's most working and improve every week based on real numbers. But cold calling is a completely different game, and understanding this difference is what helps you to decide which one is you need to start with. So the next question is what cold calling actually is. So cold calling is probably the most direct outbound approach that exists, and when it's done right, it's still the fastest way to get meetings on the calendar. The thing about cold calling is you are asking for someone's attention right now, which means the first thing you say needs to feel relevant to them personally. The best cold callers research before they do any call. They know the industry well, they know the problems that potentially their prospects have, and they have the specific reason to call and show them why they should care. Calling is very powerful because it's human in a way email can never be. You are not competing with 50 other messages in an inbox. You are having a real conversation where you adjust based on what you hear. So you can handle any objections instantly, and you build trust in minutes. That would take weeks for emails. And the deal that might take 14 days to close with the email, with the phone calls, it's way faster. Now here's what most founders get completely wrong about the cost of these channels. And this will probably change how you think about those channels and will change your opinion about it. So founders assume that emails is cheap and calling is more expensive. The reality is opposite. Cold calling is very affordable to start. Data providers sell phone numbers at a reasonable price, and CRM with the dialer is not that much. And you can have a full setup running for a very, very good price. The main cost is actually your time, your caller's time that make the calls. And I saw many founders to book the calls within the hours that took with emails literally days. So if you want to get very fast results in a record time and with the most affordable way, this is cold calling. And cold email costs a lot more than people realize. To send at scale without killing your domain, you need multiple domains, multiple mailboxes, week of warm-up, and monthly sending tools. You need to add enrichment tools like Clay for real personalization, and your monthly cost goes up very fast. A properly built email system costs significantly more than calling setup. And that's something every founder should know before choosing where to start. By the way, if you want to see my complete training on building an outbound system that combines both channels properly, the link in the description below. Now let me show you when each one actually wins, because this is where it starts clicking. So cold email wins when you need to reach out a lot of people without burning your team. You build a sequence of 4 or 5 emails and set it up once, and one person can reach 500 targeted prospects in a single week, which is almost impossible with calling. It also wins when buyer needs time to process. Senior decision makers at the bigger companies don't say yes during a surprise phone call. They want to read, think, and come back when they are ready, and good email sits in their inbox waiting for that moment. And it wins when calling is not just practical, like selling across international time zones or into industries where people are not used to answer the phones. Now here's where cold calling completely changed the things. This is why some founders book meetings in days while others wait for weeks. Cold calling wins when you need speed. If you need meetings this week, not next month, the phone gets you there faster than any email sequence. One good call books a meeting in minutes, and that kind of speed is massively underrated. It also wins when your offer is complex. Some products need a live conversation because it's so complex that you need to explain that. You need to give more context. If your email needs 3 paragraphs to explain what you do, your offer was built for a conversation, not the cold inbox. And it wins when you are going after a small list of high-value targets. Each relationship counts. 50 dream clients and you want them all in pipeline. So the calling is fastest way to build a relationship with those people. Now here's what both of these actually look like when real founders use them. Because what sounds good in theory and what works in practice are very different. A founder using only cold email builds a list of 300 prospects and writes 4-step sequence and launches on Monday. By Friday, they have got a 12% open rate, 2% reply rate, and 4 conversations started. It runs almost on autopilot, which is great. But it took nearly 2 weeks to see movement, and they have no idea why 98% of people didn't respond back. That's the frustrating side of email. You are a little bit blind. A founder using only cold calls start dialing on Monday with 100 researched prospects. By Friday, they've talked to 22 people, booked 5 meetings, and those who said no, they said exactly why. That kind of feedback in 1 week worth more than a month of testing emails because you know exactly what doesn't work and what you can adjust. But the negative side is calls are less scalable and you need to hire more people. One of our clients was stuck at 3 meetings a month on email alone for almost a quarter. We added calling on top of it, and within the weeks they started getting way better results. By the way, if you want to keep learning how to build systems like this, subscribe to my channel because every week I break down how to grow your pipeline and close more deals. The founders who get strongest results use both together. They send email first, and at the same time they also call prospects. They also use calling as warm calling because they already reached out with the cold email and they can follow up saying, I wrote you an email. That kind of setup separates founders who are getting consistent amount of appointments from those who are not getting that. So here's the decision you need to make, and this determines whether you waste the next 3 months or start booking this month. So if you're just starting and you want fast results with minimum investment, then cold calling is the best for you. Setup cost is very low, you get real feedback in days, and you don't need months for technical setup. Get your first 10 meetings from calls, learn what your market responds, and use that build smarter email systems later. So you can actually use information you got from calls for emails because it's also kind of a validation. If you have a bigger list and you have complex offer that works better with written down or team that is not ready for calling, then you need to start with email. Build infrastructure from day one, write sequences about real problems, not just generic pitches, and figure out which messages get the replies before you scale. Once email is working, add calling to accelerate what you already built. So you can do a lot of warm calls and you can start doing additional cold calls as well. And if you have both available right now, build a coordinated sequence with the omni-channel presence, where email opens the door and calling follow up with people who showed interest but didn't reply back, because that combination outperforms either channel alone every single time. So here's where you are. You can keep going back and forth about which one is better while booking 0 meetings, and in 12 months you will be in the same place. Or you pick the one that fits your stage, build the right, get producing, and start getting results and using them for the next stages. So you need meeting fast? Start calling. You need volume? Start with email. The commitment is picking one, doing it properly, and adding the other one when first one is working. Now, getting meetings is one thing, but what happens on those calls is what actually makes you money. If your discovery questions are weak, you will book meetings all day and still not close. In other videos in my channel, you can see exact questions that turn first meeting into a signed deal, and most of them are questions that probably never thought to ask. And in those videos, you can also see how to close deals when you start getting more and more meetings. So what you can do is actually looking at other videos as well and improve your sales process. With that being said, see you in the next video.